Dividing decimals and order of operations. Please remember that with dividing decimals, the same rules apply with integers. A positive divided by a positive will be positive. A negative divided by a negative will be positive. A positive divided by a negative would be negative, or a negative divided by a positive would be negative. All right, so dividing decimals, this is a review of what you learned in 6th grade. We have negative 16.68 divided by 1.2, negative 1.2. So right away, off the bat, you should realize that your answer is going to be negative because we have a positive divided by a negative. So we want to set it up using long division. So they do 16.68 here divided by 1.2. And now we want to move the decimals out of the way as much as possible. So we start with the divisor. In the divisor, we needed to move it over one space. So we had to do exactly the same thing in the dividend. So now it looks like we have 166.8 divided by 12. And then you just do regular long division. 12 can go into 16 one time. Well, they did this a little differently. I'm going to write it out. I'm going to do it on the side step by step. 166 divided by 8. 166.8 divided by 12. 12 goes into 16 one time. 12 times 1 is 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. I bring down my 6. 12 goes into 46 3 times. 12 times 3 is 36. I subtract and I get 10. And bring down my 8. Bring my decimal straight up in my answer. And now 12 goes into 108 9 times. And 12 times 9 is exactly 108. And I would get, so I have 0. So my final answer is 13.9. And again, it's a negative 13.9 because I had a positive divided by a negative. All right, so number 12, I have a negative 23.49 divided by 0.9. So I want to move my decimal over here. So I first do my divisor, I move it over one space. So I'll do the same in my dividend. So that becomes a negative 234.9. And now I need to do long division, and I'm going to do it off to the left side here. And I'm going to ignore that negative sign right now and just put it in my answer. 234.9 divided by 9. 9 can go into 2, but 9 can go into 23 twice. And that's 18. I subtract, I bring down. 9 goes into 54 exactly 6 times. I subtract and I have a 0. I'm going to bring my decimal straight up. Now I bring my 9 down, and of course 9 goes into 9 one time. I subtract, and now that I'm at 0, I am finished. So I'll do number 13 and 14 with you, and then I'd like you to try number 15 and 16 on your own. But first thing first, I'm going to move my decimal out of the way. So I'm going to start with my divisor. I have to move it one space. So I also need to do that in my dividend. So now I have 113.6 divided by 1.6. I'm sorry, just 16 because I moved that decimal over. So 16 doesn't go into 1. It doesn't go into 11, but it will go into 113. And that goes in 7 times. So 7 times 16 is 112. I subtract, and of course I'm left with 1. And I'm going to bring my decimal straight up. Bring my 6 down. And 16, of course, goes into itself one time. And I would get 0. So I had a positive divided by a negative. So that means my answer is a negative 7.1. All right, in number 14, again, I'm going to move my decimal first. So now that makes that 61, and this will be 54.9. So I have 54.9 divided by 61. So 61 can't go into 54. I'm going to put a 0 in my ones place just for good practice. And then because I know 6 times 9 is 54, I'm going to do that. And 61 times 9 is exactly 549 there. And I get 0. So again, because I have a positive divided by a negative, my answer is a negative 0.9. So please, again, pause the video now and do number 15 and 16 on your own. And then come back and check your work. Okay, moving your decimal is always the first thing you do. And then set it up as long division. So 73 or 735.3 divided by 9. 9 goes into 7 no times, but it goes into 73 8 times. 72. 9 goes into 15 once, of course. That'll be 6. We bring your decimal up. The next number down. 9 goes into 63 7 times. And now we're left with 0. So 81.7 should be the answer. And it needs to be a negative because it's a negative divided by a positive. And lastly, number 16, you should have moved each decimal one place over. So you would have 549.6 divided by 12. 12 goes into 54 4 times. 48, subtract. You get 6, bring down the 9. 12 goes into 69 5 times. 5 times 12 is 60. Subtract. Bring down my 6. And 12 goes into 96 8 times. And it is exactly 96. So you're finished with long division. Again, you have a negative divided by a positive. So your answer you should have gotten is a negative 45.8. All right, order of operations with decimal. Just remember you're always doing PEMDAS. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, and then addition or subtraction. Nothing's changing here. So they have some real world examples where they do 5.5 times 15 in parentheses minus 23.8. So of course they did everything in both parentheses first and got 82.5 minus 18.4, and then they subtracted. So in letter B here, we have where they're asking how much you would pay for something given a sales tax. So a baseball jacket costs $60 plus 4% sales tax. There's actually 2 ways to do this problem. First, you would be multiplying 60 times the 0.4 to see what the actual sales tax is. And then you just go back and add on the original cost of plus 60. And then you would, so of course you would do this multiplication first, even if it's not in parentheses, because you always do multiplication before addition. So that's where the $2.40 came from. And then they added on the original cost of $60 to it and got $62.40. Now sales tax, you can actually do another way. You can use the percentage, which was 0.04, and actually put a 1 in the ones place. And if you do 60 times 1.04, you'll simply get 62.40 right away. So a hot air balloon rose 4.5 feet for 20 seconds, so 4.5 times 20. And then it descended 2.1 feet for 10 seconds, so 2.1 times 10. So of course you need to do multiplication first, and it's in parentheses, so that's your big clue. So 4.5 times 20 is 90, and 2.1 times 10 is 21, and then you subtract, and you'd get 69 feet. Okay, and then number 18, a tennis racket costs $58 plus 4% tax. So we could do either method. First, you can do find the sales tax separately. And if you do 0.04 times 58, you get $2.32. And then you add it on, and you'd get 62 $60.32. Or you can do method 2 and just multiply 58 times 1.04, and right away you get $60.32. Of course, either method works here, you get the same answer. So please try number 19 and 20 on your own and come back and check your work. So diver at 20.5 feet below sea level, that's a negative 20.5. Dives further down at 1.5 feet per second for 15 seconds. So they're going down more, so they're subtracting 1.5 times 20. So first we need to do the multiplication. 1.5 times 20 will be 30. So we have negative 20.5 minus 30. I'm going to turn that into negative 20.5 plus a negative 30. So I can just add them, and my answer would be negative 50.5 feet below sea level. A baseball cap costs $18 plus 5% tax. So right away, I'm just going to do 18 times 1.05 to get my answer. I like this method better because it's quicker. And my total would be $18.90. Okay, so just some more examples here with order of operations. So James bought some shares. So they're just showing the math for you. I want to go ahead and do number 21 right away. So 21, over a 5-year period, the population of a city changed from 2.4 million to 1.92 million. What was the percent change? So when they're asking percent change, what you're going to do is you start out with the original amount, 2.4, and then you find the difference, and then you're going to divide by the original amount as well. So if you read that example problem, you'll see that. So first, 2.4 minus 1.92 is 0.48 over 2.4, and then they're multiplying by 100%. And 0.48 divided by 2.4 is 0.2. And when you multiply that by 100%, you get 20%. So number 22, over a decade, the population of Michigan changed from 2.4 million to 9.883 million. What is the percent change? So we're going to put the bigger number first. 9.883 minus 2.4. Then you divide by the original amount, and we're multiplying times 100. So 9.883 minus 2.4 equals 7.483 divided by 2.4. So that's 3.118. I'm rounding here, times 100%. So this would be a 311.8% change. Number 23, over a decade, Utah changed. So we start with the bigger number, 2.76 minus 2.23, divided by the original amount, and times 100. So 2.76 minus 2.23 is 0.53 divided by 2.23. And that is 0.238, I'm rounding, times 100%. And that is 23.8%. I know I did those quickly, but just go back and look at that example. It's subtraction, division, and then multiplication. So that's it for this lesson, and it's the end of the chapter. Make sure you've watched all videos and used all guided notes.